Good morning, guys. This is Dandilion Song. I don't know if my blog's gonna stay alive or not. I'm getting mixed reports on that, so I don't know if I'm gonna say Records of the Grand Historian too much anymore. But I do plan to go back there and post some playlists and some things. I wanted to bring you L is for the Way You Look at Me. I know this looks like such a mess. With Nat King Cole, and I have his things, and we did there. This is already. This first verse is already covered in another video, but I just want to review it real quick. I was kind of thinking, oh, you know, I want to go on to other things, but I did find a few gems in here. So, actually, and I think I only got to E, but... Okay, so L, in review. L is the 12. This is known as the Lord. This is the right turn. This is the 90-degree turn from dimension to dimension. I tried to draw this picture right here. Is the full rotation cycle of the sun as visible from the earth in 28 days. This is a there's no books for this that I know of, so we kind of have to make it up as you go along. I think that this is an important number because of the effect it has on all the people. People think this is the moon cycle, and I really think it's the sun cycle. Let's see. Okay, L is 4. That's a 39. And it's a 615. So it's, if you reduce it, okay, it's a 615 18. So if you reduce this to what's called Pythagorean gematria, or where you just reduce the letters right away, it's a 669. And I've been paying attention to Matthew Nicholson's videos about the speed of Saturn and how a lot of things add up to that. So we need to be aware of this. This might be an undercurrent in the English language as well. And then you want to think about the word for. And you would think that, you know, for example, from the work that I've seen, I've only seen 2 videos so far, but of Matthew Nicholson's work, but it looks like many things in our world are created for various symbolism, like Saturn, or, you know, or 1776, which is also has a Saturn tie in it. So that does kind of fit into the meaning of this word. Okay, sorry, this is hard to read. L is for the way, the. I have a hieroglyph video on the word the all by itself. It's basically this. Now we're coming up on a date, September 15th, which is an important date having to do with the Washington Monument looking east. Found this on Wayne Herschel's website, Hidden Records, where on this day, if you look east, 33 degrees above the Washington Monument, you will see the Star of Ra. And I guess it's hard to see because they spend a lot of time drawing maps for it. But this is, I believe, the basic code of all of these 33 numbers. This is what they mean. This is a star map having to do with Orion and the Trinity of Stars and the Star of Ra. So whenever we say, you know, the club of 33, or 33 this, or 33 that, or the obsession of 33, or the 30, or it's the first degree of being thawed, which is like awakened, I believe that we need to kind of throw this into, you know, right alongside it in the picture of our mind. Okay, we found that way is 47, which is the 2 7s, and it's the divergent way. This is the sign of Isis. L is for the way you. This was a surprise to me when I first found it. There's much more, I'm sure, in this word. Sorry about my focusing. Is it focusing? So, yeah, last time I was really worried about the focus, and then I realized it was my own eyes because I didn't have my reading glasses on. All right, maybe it's focused, and it just doesn't look focused to me. My husband and I joke because we're like, did you order blurry food? Because this food is blurry. Yeah, we must have ordered blurry food. Okay. So anyway, the gematria is 61, and the surprise to me about that is that the whole idea, you know, it's even a New Age idea, and the oneness idea about there is no other. And this is why Yahshua taught, do unto the golden rule and love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Because when you do unto others, you really are doing unto yourself. I have tested this lightly because I respect this rule, but I have tested this, and no matter who you look at, sometimes, I don't want to preach, but sometimes you come across an irritating person, and if you do spend time correcting them, like if you want to correct them and say, you know, in another chat, on YouTube, I got attacked by a militant vegan. She was like, I would respect you more if you were vegan. And I was like, so I agree. I mean, I admit, I had the fur up on the back of I don't have fur, but she bothered me. But what I needed to recognize in that moment was, I'm recognizing her as the other, but it's okay to set someone straight as long as you, at the same time, understand that they are actually a mirror message to you. So the mirror message from her to me was the righteousness. She's saying she's vegan, and that everybody should be vegan, and that she would respect other people if they were vegan. And I actually happen to be vegan, but that's not the point. But but I saw her, I had to see her at the same time as the you, which is the false religion. That's what I'm trying to get to on this word. 61 and 16, and all manifestations, 106, all manifestations of this number are pointing to a false religion or a false trail. But so what I needed to see was, now I have tried to just love these people away, but what I have found is that it's almost like we're in the third dimension, and this is like a living prayer, and we need to move, you know, the chairs around on the deck of the Titanic, but it actually matters what you do. So if you take the time to correct someone, even if you do it sternly, like I told her that, you know, gosh, I really meant to wake up today, and one of my goals was to impress, you know, militant vegans, you know, along my path, and I guess I failed that today, and, you know, I'm just going to have to live with the disappointment of this. So I said that to her. So that would be a firm correction, pointing out to her that she has a flawed premise that I would wake up trying to impress her in the first place. But it's a firm correction. But if you can do that at the same time, realizing you're wishing for the other's correction to a truer path, and you're delivering the message in the way that will actually correct them to a truer path. If you nice this lady off, that's not going to correct her path. And if she's really an aspect of you, then you didn't correct your own path. So it's kind of like you need to look at it with a paradox mirror. You need to understand the message that happened, the reason why this person showed up for you, and then you also need to do what you can to actually create correction. I find this with my kids a lot. You can't ignore it. You have to correct. So, all right. Well, anyway, that's the word you. Oh my gosh, at 8 minutes already. Where's my pen? Look, this is 53. These are the 53 and 35 numbers that we see on the comets. I'm still real confused about this. I've also found these numbers down on the island of Philae, having to do, I guess they buried Osiris there, and there's a lot of 53 and 35 numbers there, and having to do with Isis and Osiris, there's a lot of 53 and 35 numbers. And so I'm trying to decide, you know, what that has to do with comets, what it has to do with the eye. I believe that when you see the 53, it means to look. It's a different form of seeing. The eye is 35. So this is what I think this means. And I also went into the letters on the other video about, this is the right angle, the golden rule. This is the Venus sign, which reduces to a, what I would call a chalice on steroids. The downward facing triangle with each corner as a 10-pointed star, both pentacles overlaid. And then this is an arc. This, if you tip this back, This line means water, and this is the Egyptian boat that they float in. Kind of strange, right? I really think that's what that is. Okay. L is for the way you look at encodes the downward, the chalice, and I believe it's the 2 on top and the 1 on the bottom. It's because that's the U also, and that's 1 plus 20. At me, which is 18, and me is the R, and then in the last video I talked about you are birthing yourself. This is the B, it's the pregnant, and this is the birthing. So this is a little sign that you are birthing yourself over and over and over and over again every moment. And I think it went into me and you and some other stuff. Okay, so that is L is for the way you look at me. Let's go up to the front here. Okay. So O is the 360 degrees of the circle. Every way that you bisect this circle reduces to 9. So this reduces to 9, 180 degrees reduces to 9, 90 degrees reduces to 9, 45 degrees reduces to 9. This is a lot of 9s, plus, well, I'm not going to get into the whole vector math of the 9, but I saw a really great video on that. Okay, O is 4, there's your 28, 4, we went over that again, and here, it looks like 4 also equals 35 because, no it doesn't, it can't, it equals 39. I misread this. Sorry, writing with my left hand. Is for the only one I see. I'm gonna leave those guys. All right. On is 29, reduces to an 11. Ly is the 37, and that reduces to 10, which is the raw number. So if you reduce the if you take the y and you turn it to the Pythagorean number right away, it's a 7, and that shows you the raw number in another kind of like I don't have a word for all the layers of code in here, or the gematria layers, but it's a little, just to show you that this turns to a raw number. This is a raw number, and it's also the 21, the 12, it's the 12th prime, and it's kind of the mirror, 30, 37, 73, 12th prime, 21st prime. It has to do with this, but at the same time, it's a 10, which is an X, which is the raw number. And if you reduce it this way, it demonstrates it a little better. The 12 plus the 7 is the raw number. Okay, well, if we add these just straight, the 37 and the 29 is a 66 only. So that would be the code. Something to think about with this number. It's not, doesn't mean that it's a bad number, you guys. It means that it's a number of the field. I think we're in the 3rd dimension right now, but if we were in the 6th, according to Gilgamesh, we would be in the field. Gilgamesh was more about the 6 and the 7 with the encodement of that story. And that's the 6th dimension, that would be the field for them, and then the 7th would be the astral. And that's freedom from the dome without dying. But only, and maybe this has to do with, you know, the concept of like preciousness and attachment, you know, attachment to the field. It's interesting that I like to try to keep these in mind. I don't want to define them too early. I like to let them kind of sit in my mind and see what percolates. Sorry about the phone. Okay. All right. 1, of course, is a very iconic word. 15 and 14 by itself is 29, plus 5 is 34. And that reduces to a 7. I don't know if you guys can hear my speakers in the background. My speakers are going bad and they're making a bunch of irritating noises. I hope you can't hear that. Okay. So this is a 7, which is a G. And you know how the Freemasons love their G. So it does kind of make sense that this adds up to a G. I do have some ideas, and I would like to ask some people who have been studying this. I don't know a lot about letters, but this is kind of like the phi, and this is the arrangement. This is the power button. It's the arrangement of the tables in the UN. You know, UN is the I. But I'm starting to think that this, I kind of just thought of this as a power button, but I'm thinking of this as phi, like it's phi in motion. Like it hasn't gone all the way through yet. And then I was thinking, what if this is also the G? And then I thought, I wonder if this has to do with the mouth opening ceremony of the Egyptians. And then, so if this is the G, the way we were taught in school to write this was that this would be like a right angle square, which is the other sign of the Freemasons. So that's kind of interesting. I think the 7 is also a shape of the mouth opening of the mouth opening ceremony. And a lot of these hieroglyphs of some of the powerful people have a mouth opener in their hieroglyph. Don't claim to fully understand that, but I'm just wondering if that's what this is. And then I was looking at the bottom, at the lowercase g, and I was wondering, this could be a phi. Oh, my speakers are going nuts. Because, right? This is a cursive lowercase phi. So that's I think that's a pretty interesting insight, that this by itself could be phi. So they could be saying the right angle square with phi in here, and then they have the 33 up here. This is the 33, and it's the 6. I'm just going to do 33. That's your field number, and it's also your 67 and your 76, your spirit of 76, right? When they have on this gas station, when they have it on the sun, that's not sun worship. It's the star of Ra. I really think this is the star of Ra. Or it could be the Aten. The Aten is not sun worship. Christians, love you. You're jumping to conclusions on this. Those guys are worshiping their home planet, I think. We see this a lot. This is not the sun. And I don't think this is the sun either. All right, so, but anyway, I just wanted to show you that there's a 6 and a 7 and a phi in here. I was kind of looking for 2 phis because I think they really like to square their phis. But all right, let's get back to this. That's 1, the 1. I don't think they're looking at 1 in terms of this like cosmic sense, but they could be. You know, we have to give them some credit. If you think the other is dumb, I think you're cutting yourself out of the loop. So they could be looking at the full, the one, the everything and the nothing, the unmanifested here. I, that's the ego in the dream. C. Okay. O is for the only one I see. What are we at? 18 minutes. Oh, good Lord. I mean, sorry, didn't mean to say that. Gosh. Okay. 19. This is a raw number. And then we have the 2 stars. So I guess you would say that Ra sees these 2 stars. And if you listen to my video about Marduk Ra, he was very interested in the stars. He built buildings for people to observe stars. And he followed the stars until the stars kind of started to say that he shouldn't be in power anymore. These guys are super long-lived. Well, anyway, this adds up to the 29. And that's an 11. That's a gateway, So it could be about seeing the gateway. I'm not sure how I got this 9 here. But what I wanted to point out is, because this is kind of a see and a look word, I wanted to see if I could learn anything by finding out how many letters are between the 29, how many numbers are between the 29 and the 35, and there are 6. So if you have 29, if you have the gateway, that's your gateway, and then you add the field, the physicality, which is the 6th dimension. I believe we're in the 3rd. But if you add materiality, or the carbon, you know, the carbon is also another sign of the 6. If you add that to the gateway, then you have the eye, that which sees. Or it's also that which sees, which is kind of a perception or a consciousness, but it's also the eye cosmology of our world, our dome. You know, that, like the hieroglyph that they have in the ancient, in the like in Memphis. This is the hieroglyph. This is the eye, right here. This is the 22 level of the dome, and this is the 30. This is the 32, and then out here is 33. And then here is kind of this is like the lens. That's the earth. That's, you know, the lens-shaped earth. The cornea is symbolic for that which holds the oceans. And then you have the connection from the retina back into the brain, and the crossing back there. And what these kings are saying is that their kingdom is this. They are this plus this. So they're saying that they are king of the lower and the upper kingdom. Right? Okay. O is for the only one I see. I think I'm going to have to do part 2. All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. Love you lots. Talk to you later.